Good evening, everyone. It is December 28th, and I want to talk about the battlefield in Ukraine, specifically this notion that there is an imminent collapse of the Ukrainian military. It seems like we hear this maybe once a month, and it has to be debunked based on just general strategic understanding of what is happening here. Now, where this is coming from is Pokrovsk is squarely in the crosshairs of Russia. And this map image that you're seeing right now is not yesterday or today. This is a month ago. And I want to highlight exactly the gains Russia has made in the last month so you understand what is taking place. Now, Pokrovsk sits right here in the middle of your screen, key logistics hub that services logistics to much of the battlefield in this region. Now, we'll go ahead and move the days forward so you can understand what exactly Russia has taken and where Russia is moving on the battlefield. This is November 28th, just after U.S. Thanksgiving here, and we'll go ahead and move forward. 29th, 30th, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. And you have to understand, some days there's just no movements. That's potentially what you're seeing when nothing moves and I call out a day. 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. So we're at about 2 weeks from today. This is 2 weeks ago where Russia was. 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27. So this is where we're at. Kind of moving through this, you can see the movements starting on the 28th, how Russia has moved in their attempt to take Pokrovsk. Now the focus is there flanking because of all the defenses that are in the main effort here. This is a month's worth of gains across the battlefield for Russia. So just to see the direct change, here is the 28th, a month ago. That's what it looked like. Here is yesterday. 28th, yesterday. So you can see exactly what Russia has gained. And any amount of gains by Russia is unfortunate. But as I've said, Ukraine's tactic is trading ground for lives and equipment. So they will give small amounts of ground to take Russian lives and equipment because they know that that war of attrition favors their ability to outlast Russia. The reason is Russia is losing between 1,000 and 1,600 troops per day in this fight. And it's not just deaths, that's total casualties. But when you're zoomed in this close, it does look like they are taking territory. 1 month and they've taken essentially what this circle is right here. But let's put this in perspective. Let's zoom out. And actually on the screen, you can't see the entirety of Ukraine because it's such a big country. Now we will go back to the 28th. And this is where we're looking. So key in right here. 1 month ago, this is what it looked like. Cut to today, or yesterday rather. That's what they gained. 1 month ago, yesterday. They've lost between 1,000 and 1,600 troops per day in that month period, taking that much ground. So they're not taking as much as you think relative to the entirety of the country. In fact, for Russia to take the entirety of the country, if they were sustaining this level of destruction, they would lose 120 million. That's obviously not going to happen because Russia's population is only something like 142 million people, so that's not sustainable. And furthermore, it's worth noting that countries have taken lots of ground and still lost wars. Germany for one, the United States is another one. The United States owned the ground entirely, in its entirety in Afghanistan. And yes, the U.S. could have continued fighting there, could have obliterated any enemy in Afghanistan, but the Taliban and Al-Qaeda and Afghan fighters that were fighting against the United States could outlast the U.S. And that's something that is key to understand. As Russia takes small amounts of ground, way smaller amounts than the U.S. took in Afghanistan, they're sustaining incredible amounts of casualties, far, far more than the U.S. sustained in Afghanistan. And what is happening is that is going to become a tipping point eventually. So I wanted to put that in perspective. I wanted to put it in perspective that, yes, Ukraine may be losing small amounts of territory along the front line near places like Pokrovsk. But when you put it in total perspective, whole country of Ukraine, this is what they've gained. So I'm not saying we need to ignore Russian gains. We need to continue to supply Ukraine, but we need to obviously put it in perspective of what in totality Russia is losing here. And it is a significant amount, far more than the United States ever lost in Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq, etc. Ukraine has created a casualty producing machine, and all they need to do is give up 6 to 8 square kilometers per day, and Russia loses 1,000 to 1,500 troops. I don't know how long Russia can last, but I do know it won't be forever.